there were two more questions. Do you want?
Oh yes. Well, I thought I mentioned Taliban kleptocracy.
Okay, please. Yeah.
Hi, I have two questions as well. The first one is that whether you think that the continued focus and with this one MDB investigation will galvanize Malaysian citizens in general to focus on the politics of good governance as opposed to in the past, racial divides and so on. So, and how that would affect the future of Malaysia post 1MDB. Secondly, just a very pragmatic question. What happens to money that gets frozen by governments abroad, seeing that these are money that Malaysian taxpayers have contributed towards all their working lives? Thank you.
Yes, I wouldn't do something, if it was completely hopeless. And in fact, it's been incredibly inspiring covering this story for the very point you've made. I just love reading the comments, not just on my stories, but on all the stories relating to this issue in Malaysia. You compare the comments, by ordinary citizens writing in Malaysia to, our newspaper comments. They're so thoughtful. They are thinking about big democratic themes. They talk about, divisions of power and, the need for, checks and balances, independence of the judiciary. People in Malaysia are thinking in the way we don't bother, because we just take it all for granted. And it's been really, really interesting seeing that, growing understanding, even to see Dr. Mahathir come out and say that, there is need in Malaysia for more independent media, Great, so even he worked it out. And I do think there has been an evolution, there's been a democratic consciousness that has definitely evolved over this. And yes, you mentioned, the constant harping on, and I shouldn't say that, but about race and religious differences, which do understandably, ride high in a society like Malaysia, where people have to mix together because they come from different backgrounds, and it has kind of paralysed thinking, and you have political parties that are just based on race and all these issues, and it's really great, particularly to see young people starting to think beyond those traditional divides together, cross race, cross religion, to those universal principles that will decide in the end whether this is going to you're going to come out with an informed democracy, a democratic base in Malaysia that can move forward, which is possible. There's a terrific thinking, professional, educated class in Malaysia, and there's hope for the country. Or whether Najib's going to crack down so badly, divide you all as he's doing his darndest at the moment, whipping up tensions, whipping up religious issues, for his own, his view, his own political survival. And I very much hope that, that this will win through, and we're seeing the march this weekend, which is based on democratic principles, protecting democratic principles. The money, I often get asked about the money. Even people, I've been talking to people, sort of, for example, from Switzerland. They've frozen quite a lot of bank accounts, and they're starting to say, look, we're going to have to give it back at some stage. We may be in a situation where we have to give this back to Najib. So all I can say is, it is your money. There are lots of well-intentioned international regulatory bodies sitting on the money. I suggest you change your government so you've got a better chance of it going back to someone who isn't a crook.